Thank you everybody for coming in tonight. Obviously, not a politician. I've been a politician for all of 6 months. I survived the primary, running against, candidate Robin Harvey for Baltimore County Board of Education in District 1. That's everywhere from Lansdowne all the way up to Windsor Mill, across 70, includes Johnny Cake, Catonsville High School, Catonsville Elementary, Arbutus, Lansdowne. So it's a really diverse, really fantastic area, but it has its troubles, right? Little background about me. I've been a resident of Arbutus for 20 years. I originally grew up in Western Pennsylvania. I'm actually a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so sorry guys. I currently run a laboratory, so I do environmental testing. So I test air, water, and soil for environmental pollutants. I participate in testing schools for lead in their drinking water. So I see firsthand, all over the map, different schools are impacted, and that's where I feel like I am bringing a very different perspective. There's social workers, there are educators, principals, but in general, the people that are running for Board of Ed come from an educational background, and what I'll call a big educational background. Everybody has big pharma, and big this, and big that, big money. These are big education, so they're very in tune with curriculum programs and spending millions of dollars on curriculum programs that they feel is going to be effective. Some are and some are not. I'm looking at this from a more foundational problem. Our schools still don't have heat and air conditioning that work effectively. Our water systems in every school still can't be drank. Like the Wi-Fi, you sell a $1.5 billion contract for laptops, and then they can't use them in the classrooms. This is before COVID. These are not COVID-specific issues. This is, school education performance. When your performance level is 35% on grade, that is not school performance, that's school failure. And that is something that, me looking at it, I'm not a curriculum person, I'm a parent. I got 2 kids. I got a G&T 7th grader, and I got an IEP 3rd grader. So I got both ends of the spectrum, right? I have a child who, my 7th grader has Algebra 1. Her teacher is a college student because they could not staff the classrooms, so they literally have a long-term substitute who's a UMBC student. I'm not begrudging that student, but my tax dollars are paying for a college student to teach my child gifted and talented algebra. That's wrong. On the other end of it, my child who has an IEP isn't going to get an IEP supervisor. They're not going to see the help that they need to improve their reading and math scores. So on both ends of the spectrum, the current state of Baltimore County schools is an undeniable flop, if we want to call it that, and to use a harsher word, a failure. I want to come at it from, actual data analytics. You get the foundation set in place. You really encourage the vocational and technical programs. You get these kids into a program. Not everybody is meant for college. Let's just be perfectly honest. But there are jobs, whether it's in the computer and digital space, design, artistic people great at design. They don't need a 4-year degree. In the same way that we are pricing teachers out of the program, teachers should not need a master's plus 4 certificates to teach 2nd grade. I just want to be fair. I'm not minimizing the work, but if a teacher has to invest $150,000 to take a job which everyone says is an underpayment, that's the wrong math, right? I'm a math person. That's the wrong equation. We have to engage teachers. We have to get students to invest in their own education. We have to think creatively to do it. If your school's falling down, are you going to invest and try hard? If your teacher has checked out and they are no longer engaged in your success, are you going to be successful? Another topic of concern in my world is firsthand the observation that demographics play a role in discipline. That, to me, is wrong. If there is an act, that act should be judged on its own merits. We always talk about judging people on merit. Whatever that act is, whether it's positive or negative, I don't care if you're from Johnny Cake or Lansdowne or Randallstown or Essex, the color of your skin, where you came from, whether you're an Esau child, if you succeed, you should be rewarded. If you are floundering, that should be something that should be boosted.
Your time is up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any questions for this gentleman?
Yes, sir.
You hit a word that bothers me greatly, and that's curriculum. The county hires all kinds of associate superintendents in charge of curriculum up and down the line. Yet they spend God knows how much on vendors. That's got to stop. That's absolutely ludicrous because the amount of salaries that these so-called curriculum specialists earn is unreal. And I'm sure the prices for the outside curricula is even worse.
Going rate, based on the current budget information, every student in Baltimore County is worth $15,000 and change. Every single student. $1.5 billion budget, 110,000 students. What are we getting, right? Like, what are we getting? We're buying laptops that don't work. We're investing in curriculum that's obviously not working. We invested in technology, and we had a hack because it's not necessarily the teachers, but it is the structure and it is the foundation. I have genuine concerns about how things are run and how things are organized at Greenwood. You know, the corporate version of BCPS seems to be unable to get out of their own way between hacks and sharing student files with teacher files, and then everybody gets hacked and they can't get W-2s. That's unacceptable. Has there been any repercussions to that? You know, they paid the ransom to get the information back because they didn't have backups. That's incompetence. I mean, from so I have, genuine concerns. I don't begrudge any individual person, but I do have concerns that whether it's emotional or how it's being driven, someone's not looking at it critically. It's not spend more money or less money. It's not punish this school or punish that school. But looking at it and someone being realistic and trying to better the outcomes as opposed to just pushing things through and purchasing big curriculum programs without any real expectation that they're going to succeed seems like a falsehood to me. And that's something that hopefully I can change. So if you're here and you vote in District 1, you'll see my name at the end of the ballot, and hopefully.
You have a person back there.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand how this Board of Education, where your real estate board interfaces with the issues of the gender identity, the gender re-education in the schools, and the CRT in the schools. Can you speak to that and how you?
The Board of Education has a very arm's length access and sort of control over any of that. A lot of that is driven by the Maryland State Board of Ed, who will publish policies that then sort of go past the local Board of Educations and are published broadly for adoption. So individual books, we could get into a conversation about concerns about books or concerns about topics. They would have to be brought up as topics at a meeting. That typically doesn't happen. Most of this stuff is at each individual school level dealt with until it's not, until it blows up and then there's a big outcry or, sort of the inverse where, someone's raising an alarm. I'm a parent. I do feel like parents should have a participation in their child's education. Parents should not be living
Right?
I want to find a really good way for parents and educators to work together because they have to, right? I don't see my kids 8 hours a day. I'm trusting somebody. I want to be able to trust that somebody, and I want to be able to get on the same page and be successful with that school. And I have really good relations with my children's school, but I'm an active parent. So how do we get the parents to be active as well? And that's something that, as a Board of Ed member, I will look for. or knows how to do it. Like we said, you're dropping, you're stepping down. People want to step down because everything is harder, and we just have to fight through it, right? It's like a marathoner. At the very end, you have to figure out a way to finish that last half mile. And right now, for me, that last half mile is to make the schools a safer, better place for these kids. Like it's an easy thing for me as a parent.
Time?
Not yet.
Did I see one more?
In the back.
5 seconds.
All the way in the back.
Good evening.
Time.
One of the things that I just heard mentioned was a statement about CRT. So I'm wondering, because I appreciate honesty in our elected officials, and there's been a bunch of dishonesty going about talking about things that are taught in terms of curriculum in Baltimore County. And I know for a fact, because my children are in the schools, that there is no CRT here in Baltimore County.
Wow.
I'm curious, what is your position on the teaching history in the school system?
Not true.
To me, I have concerns when we're writing revisionist history, but I want all sides to be handled.
Okay,
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Yes, ma'am.